What up, guys? It is your boy Jay and Chantel. We back at it with another Cinema Theorists episode. I know it's been 2 weeks. Today, we're here to talk about Morbius, or as I like to call it, more BS, bro.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's
I
yeah, I agree.
died there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still getting over
It's
my
that
allergies.
cough.
Before we get into it, though, um, we've got obviously some things to talk about. So, one, we haven't done an episode in 2 weeks.
Right.
You can, and we're gonna tell you why. Actually, first off, Chantel went out of town for his birthday, so give him
Right.
a birthday shout out. He
Appreciate it.
went to Vegas for a week, I think, right? About a
Yeah,
week. And then
I think March.
while he was gone, I got severe allergy issues and a sinus infection, causing me to be sick for a week and a half. So that's
Yeah,
why we haven't had anything in 2 weeks.
poor
But
Jordan.
but we're back and we're emo more than ever for this episode only because you know. We're gonna do a quick rundown just because I don't feel like getting into it very much. We saw the Lost City.
Hmm.
Lost City, in my opinion, was a nice 4 out of 5. I thought it
Yeah,
was
it was
decent.
pretty good. It was
I'd
pretty
watch
good.
I'd watch a second one. If you're gonna go see it and haven't, stay tuned. There's a post credit scene.
Yeah,
Uh, they're good chemistry. Probably the funniest original
rom com.
comedy rom-com that I've watched in
Yeah,
a while.
yeah, it
More
was pretty
more
good.
more fresh than Marry Me.
Right. I actually think it was better than Marry Me.
Well, yeah, because it was more funny. The other one was meant to be more serious.
Yeah.
Um, we will talk about Halo once that series is concluded, because we can do a whole episode on it. Same thing as Moon Knight. Um, we're still working on trying to get the other podcast started. It's just a matter of timing and things like that. And the last thing we're going to say is probably after this month, because there's so much coming out every week. After this month, we are going to start cutting back on doing these episodes to be able to do the other episode, the other podcast. So we're going to do one every other week. That way we never run out of content and have another 2 week barrier like this again.
Right.
But we're going to continue this one at least through April because there's so many things coming out literally week after week after week after week. Um, like this comes out just to make up for it. We're going to have this come out on Tuesday, which is
Mhm.
today. And then Wednesday night, we're going to see Sonic 2 early. And
Right.
we're going to have a video. We're not only going to have a podcast episode for that, that'll be coming out on Thursday, but also I am planning on having us record a little guerrilla style right after the movie at the theater
Yeah.
because I guarantee we'll definitely be talking about it.
Right.
But into the main potatoes here, we're talking about a movie that is as soulless and just I felt the blood being drained out of me as the main protagonist does to most of the characters in
Pun
this movie.
intended. Pun intended.
Exactly. But that's my opener. Chantel, why don't you go on and tell us what you thought of this?
If you guys watch the show or listen to the show, y'all already know that I was an advocate for Morbius, and
Wait, you were excited for it?
I was super excited for it. I was
Oh, see,
super excited for it.
that might actually explain why we have such differing opinions.
Right.
Because I knew it was gonna be garbage.
And then seeing the movie, man. I remember you asking me if it was garbage, would I get up and leave the theater? It was like two times I was gonna legit get up and leave the theater, bro. Like
Really.
that's how horrible that movie is to me. This is just my opinion. The movie was horrible. Horrible. I would not go back and see it. The only way I would see it again is if you do get it on Vudu or if it goes to like HBO Max or
Okay, but let
something
me
like that.
I think might be one of those movies that, unlike Shang-Chi, with your opinion, where it was a good film, even though you didn't like it, you just didn't like it regardless. I think if you were to go back into Morbius, knowing just how bad it was and your expectations just down to the garbage level, you might enjoy it the second time
Yeah.
for what it is.
I don't mind watching it again, but I'm not gonna go to the theater to watch it again. I am not gonna waste my time going to the theater to watch that garbage.
Imagine if we went and seen that in 4DX.
Right. No, hell no. Hell no.
I probably
No.
would have asked for a refund,
Right.
but no.
Immediately.
So, as you guys can tell, I don't wear my hair like this normally, but this is what it feels like to watch Morbius. Feeling
Right.
like you're as edgy, potential. We all know I'm not edgy, but I'm gonna look edgy. That's what this movie is. Pretending to be edgy when we all know what it actually is. It's a dog shit Sony movie.
Right.
The only movie Sony has come out with this year that has actually not been terrible was Uncharted, and that was it.
Yeah.
But
It was a candy coated turd, is what it was.
I mean,
Legit a candy coated turd. There you go. That's the Jordan I know.
oh my god, hair. I didn't realize my hair was that long. I'm gonna be honest. One second.
But yeah, man, like and I know throughout the time waiting for this movie to come out, you was like, oh no, I don't have any high expectations, but I guess I'm gullible. And I'm a sucker for vampires first and foremost. So I love vampires, and I was just hoping that this movie would be way better than what it was. This movie took legit. The more I'm thinking, it was a shit show.
So I'm gonna give you a brief little thing here. When they first had the one trailer come out, I was like, I'm gonna see how this goes. This could be better than Venom, possibly. They have Beethoven music playing over this. He's doing these, he seems like this really complex character. And oh, this is gonna be Jared Leto's redemption from Suicide Squad. Oh, I can't wait to watch this. And then, pandemic hit, it got delayed a shit ton of times. And each time I was just like, oh, that's still coming out, isn't it? Who cares? They didn't keep me interested enough. Then they
Right.
came out with a second trailer, which had People Are Strange by
Which
the
had me hyped.
Doors.
Which
And I
had me
was
hyped.
like, okay. But then they started showing more shots. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, whatever. I know Matt Smith's in this, but they show him like twice in the trailer and hardly at all. Oh, Tyrese is here. Okay, I guess. And then they show Vulture. And I'm like, what? What does this have? This only has more questions for me.
Right.
And then the last trailer came out, and I was like, you know what? All right, you've got me in fully. I will definitely go see this opening day. At first, I wasn't going to. I was just gonna go see it probably some point. Then I was like, I'll go see it opening day. Why not? It's a Marvel film. Maybe we'll see some cameos that are telling us which Spider-Man universe this is in. There's all those cool Spider-Man like things that they're pointing in there. This
Right.
could be great. And then a couple days beforehand, I started hearing through my YouTube channels that I watch that this thing was getting bombed. This thing's an absolute garbage mess. Nothing from the Vulture stuff that we see in the trailers is even in there, you know, just dog shit, dog shit, dog shit. Then Rotten Tomatoes, 17% rating of critics. I'm like, you know what? I won't listen to that too much. I mean, there's other movies. It's definitely rated lower than even the first Venom was, which was not great,
Right.
even though it was better than the second one. Um, but there's still hope here. Maybe these critics, I'm not always, I mean, critics aren't always correct. There's Man of Steel, which they didn't like, and I thought that was brilliant.
I thought that movie was dope.
Um, so I was like, oh wait, I'm not gonna, I'm not. This is gonna make my expectations a lot lower though, because that's that's not a rating that I want to get my hopes for. If I
Right.
lower my expectations, it could be okay. And then I went and saw it on Thursday, and it was laughably bad. No, no,
Super
you do that.
laughable.
But because I had low expectations, and it was at least enjoyable, and it was funny in a terrible way,
Right.
I had fun watching this. Unlike when I lowered my expectations for Dark Phoenix, and it was even worse than I had lowered my expectations to, because it was a boring piece of garbage.
Yeah.
But no, it's okay. We're gonna say a few more things that are kind of not spoilers. and then we're gonna get into the spoiler section. Yeah, I know, but we're gonna do that in a minute. So, all in all, 90% of the trailers, all the footage in the trailers, 90% of it, not there. They they did worse than Marvel Studios. They put in pretty much everything that wasn't going to be in the film.
Right.
And there's parts in this movie that feel really disjointed, very poorly edited, and there are points where they could have cut out stories completely because of there was probably a storyline to it that would have been interesting with certain characters, but because they cut all the parts that would have made that subplot seem more interesting, they should have just not had the characters in there at all.
Right.
Sorry. But I think that the only person in this film that has my attention as they did well was Matt Smith, who's not even in the trailers. And I think he is the only reason I like him the most is because he's the only one on there that seems like he's actually having fun with the role and knowing what this movie is and not taking it so seriously. That's my 2 cents on it, non-spoiler wise.
Yeah. I really don't have anything as far as non-spoiler wise, but no, again, the only thing I can say is that my expectations was like I was really rooting for this movie.
I should have told you what the critics thought of it beforehand.
It just dropped, it held me off the side of the building and just dropped me.
I feel like if I told you what the critics thought of it, you probably would have lowered your expectations.
Probably.
I don't know if
I mean, I'm glad I went in blind. I'm glad I went in blind. That way I could form my own opinion, as opposed to seeing what somebody else said or they thought about the movie. At least I was able to go and see firsthand my thoughts from the movie. But you hit it right on the head, man. It was laughably funny, but not in a good way.
I will watch it again just to laugh at the bad parts.
In the theater?
Oh yeah. I would go see it again in the theater if there wasn't a movie coming out literally every week for the next month.
I still wouldn't go. I wouldn't waste my time.
All right. So we are going to get into a section here, which I'm going to call or the spoiler section. Duh. I'll add the duh to it because whatever. But to get us into there, I'm gonna play a little song that would have been better had they had it in it. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm listening.
I'm pretty sure this won't get copyrighted because it's by a guy who's been dead for 400 years, but nope. Oh no. I hope this doesn't. Okay. The spoiler section.
That part.
Yep, this spoiler section where class meets class. As long as it's not a Sony movie. But okay. Now, I know most of you probably think we're going to start talking about the post-credit scenes. We're not going to talk about those right this second because those post-credit scenes is probably going to take up most of the rest of this podcast, and it's going to be the last part because of stuff. But Matt Smith, antagonist. He's kind of like a brother to Morbius, and Morbius makes a cure for both of them because they have the same disease, which is odd. Like, how is it possible that a small rare disease somehow two of you end up with it, in the same building? Where are your parents? That's honestly something that I'm not thinking about until now. Is like, where are their parents? Did they die from the disease too?
They did. It's horrible. Their parents didn't want them because they had the disease.
They didn't want them because they were a cripple.
Right.
No, horrible. But he's a villain, but he doesn't. He's a. I don't know how to put it. Michael wants to become a hero by saving people of this disease. The other guy gets left behind because he's not as smart as Michael and gets bullied and starts beating up people, therefore showing his villainous arc.
Right.
Except, obviously at the end it's like, hey, this is the third act. Let's make him take the cure that actually is like a curse for Michael so he can also be another vampire for someone to beat. Because we can't do Spider-Man because he's not a villain. So we have to bring somebody who's just like him.
It was so in at this particular point in time in our movie career, we could definitely see foreshadowing. But the foreshadowing in this particular movie was done so poorly. As soon as you met this kid in the second bed next to Michael, it was like, oh, he's definitely going to be the fucking antagonist in this movie.
He's poor
And
battening.
even when they showed the serum, when Milo went and saw Michael, they like specifically showed the serum like right there as he's looking at it, like oh my god, he's not gonna steal it, but he really did.
Remember what I said? I said, you watch, he already took one of those.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It was so obvious that again it was laughable. It was horrible, man. I keep saying this shit. It was horrible, but
So there's one thing that I said immediately. I was like, when it started, the like title credits, it was playing this real epic music, and I'm like, oh, you better not be teasing us with epic music for a shit movie.
and it was.
But no,
You
they,
ruined it for us
why?
because you called it. You called it. You
I
ruined it.
call I no, I was saying this better not actually be a shit movie with this kind of music.
Right, right.
Also,
You talk about the opening, right?
yeah. You know
Yeah,
what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think the music was that bad. I thought it was pretty. I thought the music might have been a little bit better than the film.
yeah.
I think I know who did it too. The music. Oh yeah, I don't know. It's some bald white guy.
I don't have all of my computers up right now, so
Well, I can tell you right now, his list of movies he's done. Uh, the only other one that I know that he's done is Life. The
the Eddie
the
Murphy and
no Life, like the one with Ryan Reynolds and the one that was kind of like an unofficial prequel to Venom.
gotcha,
The one that
gotcha.
everyone was hoping would be a prequel to Venom.
The outer space joint.
Yeah, it should have been. I guarantee that movie would have made much more money if they had said slapped a Marvel thing on it and said this is the
Of
prequel to
course,
Venom.
of course.
But of course, you know,
The movie
R
wasn't
rated.
that bad though.
No, it wasn't. I haven't watched it since it came out.
Yeah, me either. But I mean, I still enjoy it.
Because I'd heard rumors that movie, the post credit scene, was going to be like a this is the sequel or the Venom the sequel to it. And I was like, oh, is this really a Marvel movie? That'd be crazy.
Right,
Like a switch marketing like 10 Cloverfield Lane end up being a sequel to Cloverfield.
right.
No, but back to the shit movie that I don't want to talk about. Um the CGI for this was decent in parts where it looked pretty good on some of the close-ups. But when they started talking for a lot of it and they had
Yeah.
like the CGI, it looked terrible. And you know what sucks? They are the ones who were like, yeah, we got the same team who did like, Avengers Endgame CGI. And I'm like, how? You know what the budget for this film was?
What, like 95?
$75 million.
75? Wow.
Yeah. It explains the PS5 slow motion quick time shots. I
Like,
don't even play a
but,
PS5 and I
which they
saw it.
kept doing. Like,
I was like, I get it. You're faster than them. Why don't you just, how much less money you would have had to spend if you just shown him as a blur and they all
right,
just die?
right.
Like, why? Oh,
And
oh,
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for slow motion
it's
and
we're
music.
overdone.
But they did it so much in this movie. Like the first couple of times, it's like, oh, that's pretty dope. But then it just kept doing it over and over and over again.
I was gonna give this film like a 5 out of 5 in entertainment value. I enjoyed it, but after rewatching some of the trailers over the weekend, I just got pissed. I was like,
Yeah,
there is literally so much story behind in that you just left on the cutting room floor. And the director even said, someone asked him point blank, is this your version or is there a version of yours that's cut and not
right,
in the movies? And he went, well, Sony, they like to meddle with things. And it's like, so this is not your fault.
right.
You had a movie and they muddled it.
This movie could have been so much better. I swear, it seemed like Sony with other properties that they have, they make such shit movies with these properties to where they're like laughing at the original IP owner, like Look at what we doing to your characters, bro. Like
Want to
that
make
movie
us
could have been so much better.
they want to make a successful Sony verse, and yet they don't take the time to realize like it's not a matter of whether or not you can, it's a matter of whether or not you should.
Right.
And right now, you should stay to the animated series and give everything else back to Marvel
Back to
Studios.
Marvel. Give it back to Marvel.
We give it back to you, the people.
Right.
Which
Like,
is
come on, man.
DC could make a
Okay,
better Morbius
if
movie.
they don't give it back to Marvel, at least get somebody that knows about Marvel comics at least on these movies to make them a whole lot better. Don't just throw that shit out there just because it's a Marvel title
You know what they
and it
need?
got Marvel characters.
They need
And
some. They need a Marvel fan and directors, kind of like John Favreau and Dave Filoni has for
right,
Star Wars,
right,
because the person running the company, Kathleen Kennedy for Lucasfilm, and Amy Pascal for Sony, they don't know what they're doing and they need to be outed. It's not because they're women; it's just because they're stupid.
right. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They're not in the business of making movies; they're in the business of making money.
Right.
Even
Which is
though this
it,
movie,
it, it would go hand in hand. If they were about making good movies, the money will come.
could you imagine? Right. Let's just say, for the fun of it, let's say we didn't have a CGI Morbius. Say we got him to take the thing or whatever, and instead of him going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, they do what the comics did, where when he changed. That was it. He didn't
Right.
come back to his normal form. He had to live with that.
Right.
He couldn't blend in with society. That's the whole point.
Right.
And we have him in an actual prosthetic, blended with CGI suit, and make it a lower budget film that feels more like a horror film, like not Invisible Woman because that was R rated. They could have done R rated because they're Sony, but they're not going to. But make it. I mean, look at the Batman. Look how dark that movie got, and that was PG-13. You can push the boundaries of a R or PG-13 rating without going full on to it. If Sony wants to succeed in making this franchise work, they need to play into the elements that these characters are based around. If you want a movie that doesn't have Spider-Man in it but wants to have the villain, make Morbius a horror film, a
Right.
body horror film at that. Make Venom into a Jekyll Hyde film because that's what that is.
Right.
And they tried it, but they used too much comedy. Craven the Hunter. I don't know.
I don't even have any hopes for that at this point.
I can't even give them an option for Madam Web. I don't know what the fuck they're doing making that kind of movie.
Right.
Especially with Dakota Johnson. She's not even that good of an actress.
Yeah, I'm not even
She's
gonna
good
give
at
my
taking her clothes off. Because that's the only movies I've seen her in.
But no, I agree. I think they need to get a better team as far as these Marvel properties are concerned.
Imagine this, right? You want to build a Sinister Six. You want to make them truly frighteningly like monsters for this Spider-Man to face. You make them horrifying so that when they come up together, like they don't all have to be horrifying. I mean, Vulture isn't horrifying, but he's terrifying in the sense of he's ruthless and
Right.
whatever. But like you make them all scary enough that when they come together to fight whoever Spider-Man they choose to make part of this world specifically, I think it'll be Andrew, but they could always not make it him. You make them like you watch Spider-Man go up against these guys and you've seen their movies and you go, oh, how is he gonna beat them? That's crazy. They're all scary as hell.
Right.
Instead, it's like, I mean, he could just web him.
Easy peasy.
Spider-Man, he's not going to touch dude, man. Also, if they did make it Andrew Garfield, though, they have a conundrum to deal with. If Michael Morbius bites Spider-Man and he's Andrew Garfield, he'll get his blood, and then we'll have another Harry Osborn situation where he gets fucked up.
Right.
It might cure him, but it also kill him. But imagine this though, right? With a truly horrifying Morbius, right? Not the one we got. He goes up against Spider-Man. Spider-Man, being whippy as he is, thinks he's a vampire, sprays garlic at him, and it's like this terrifying Morbius. And he just shakes it off, and he's just like, "Uh-oh." He sprays Morbius with that, and he goes, I'm not allergic to garlic. And it's like, that's not, no, it's just dumb.
Bro, I have no idea what they're gonna do. Even with you saying bringing Andrew Garfield in is like the new Spider-Man. Imagine a Marvel movie of Spider-Man coming out, and then a Spider-Man movie that Sony is bringing out. Like everybody's gonna be confused about this shit. Like
No,
which Spider-Man movie are we going to see?
no, no, there's not going to be any. No, but imagine like Amazing Spider-Man 3 ends up being made, and it is the Sinister Six, but we're getting all of the villains for it before Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Right.
Here's the thing: people have already accepted that Andrew Garfield, as bad as his movies were, they still liked him as Spider-Man. We saw that firsthand with the new No Way Home. With him coming back,
Right.
people want him to come back for a third one. I mean, it's been talked about. The only thing is, Mar. I think this is the only thing I can say about Sony. Right? They're not making good villain spin-off movies, but they are doing something a little bit better, which is they originally were going to just make a Sinister Six film right after Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now they're going to have each character have their own spin-off movie that sucks, but has an actor well enough to be like, we're going to have to do a stupid, shitty movie so that we could get you into this movie. So that way that movie's not garbage.
Still, which is still stupid.
It is,
Stupid.
but it's less dumb than going from Amazing Spider-Man 2 to a Sinister Six film with no one else set up. Okay, these post-credit scenes. These are literally the worst goddamn post-credit scenes I have seen in my entire life. The worst.
They to me it made the movie even more laughable.
I would argue, I would almost try to debate you on this one, that those post-credit scenes actually, as bad as they are, they make the movie better. Not because they're
How?
in, no, not because that they are good, but because they are so bad that the movie itself is better because those are as part of
Those
it.
are that horrible.
Yeah, that you're like, I wish I would have just left with the movie. At least I would have felt sickly and not pissed.
Right. I agree. I agree in that part because
Like
yeah,
those post credit scenes make the movie look good in
those post
retrospect.
credit scenes was horrible.
So, for anyone who obviously has been listening to our spoiler section and has watched the film, post credit scenes. First one, first one. The rift that we see in Spider-Man No Way Home, which proves that they filmed this. This is why they pushed it back from January because of
Right.
this, which is dumb. Rift opens up. The rift that the spell that's supposed to bring back or put everyone who's in their not home universe, which is the MCU, and put them back in their home universes, like Venom back to his. So tell me, why did Vulture, whose home universe is the MCU, get put into this universe? That makes no sense.
In
Marvel,
jail, in jail at that.
well, I mean, it's going to put him in wherever, in the same place of wherever he was, just in an alternate universe. That's the only thing that makes sense about it. The only thing. Because he was still in New York City. But my thing is this, Marvel. I know you ain't really working with Sony on this kind of stuff, but they fucking up your multiverse. You need to sit them down and go, no, you got to consult us on this kind of stuff. That's dumb. How does that work? You literally co-produced Spider-Man with us. You know what the spell did. Why are you putting him in there? The only solution I can have is that they had to agree with leaving the symbiote in the MCU and trading him for the Vulture.
Vulture.
Even that, as behind the scenes as that could go, that would make sense. Movie wise, it makes no absolute sense whatsoever. That
At
spell has
all.
just now gotten more confusing. It has more things, and to top it off, he's just a simple man trying to make a living, and he gets transported to a different universe, and the only thing he can say is, hope the food's better here. What 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 about your daughter and wife? I know you didn't care that much because you were doing illegal shit, but come on, dude, that's the only thing you can say.
I'm just confused. I'm
I don't think
confused.
he read the script.
I'm confused how he got his vulture
He made a
outfit.
new one apparently.
How?
I don't know how, because there's no Chitari in this one. There's no aliens other than the symbiote. But somehow he made his suit. I mean, I guess he made the first one, but maybe he just tinkered with it differently. I don't know. It's dumb. That's the post.
Super dumb, man.
So
Super dumb.
he gets released from jail, right? Because he's obviously from a different universe, so he didn't do anything in this one. Whatever. Fast forward to the second post credit scene. Michael Morbius, he's driving an Audi in the middle of the desert at 3 o'clock in the morning because I guess he can't fly right now, which is, I thought he was supposed to be on the run. Why is he all of a sudden just driving an Audi? That's pretty inconspicuous, huh? But drives out in the middle of the desert. And from what I read, apparently Vulture had already contacted him to meet him out there, which there was no context for within the film.
Right.
Gets out there, senses a threat to him, goes out there. Vulture comes flying up in his suit, the suit that obviously didn't make it, unless somehow his suit got transported, but that'd be fucking stupid because he wasn't wearing it. He makes a new suit. How? There's no aliens. Then he goes, I don't know how I got here, but I know Spider-Man has something to do with it. I'm interested in putting a team of people together, like-minded people. You're interested? And Morbius just like, sounds intriguing. Sounds intriguing. What part of you just decide, oh, I'm just going to go fuck up this kid?
Right.
Spider-Man person. Which this is the first time we've ever heard the mention of Spider-Man in this universe. Venom didn't talk about it. Unless in this universe, Eddie got pushed out by out of the Daily Bugle by Peter Parker, which actually would kind of make some sense. Think about it. He was technically working and taking pictures for Johnson in the Daily Bugle. They just didn't have him in the actual thing because it was all online. Right. But he said he got vengeful after Gwen died. It's possible he's the one that run Brock out of town because Brock was starting to take pictures of him or trying to investigate him. And because he didn't hold his punches, he did something fraudulent and got kicked out of New York.
That's plausible.
Everyone hated him. Yeah,
that's plausible. If Sony is listening.
Yeah. But wait a minute. Well, no, I guess that can't be the case either. That would have been good. Can't be the case because he knew Peter Parker when he didn't know Peter Parker when he showed up on the screen in the New World.
Right.
God damn Sony. Why is it the only thing you know how to make is good video game adaptations? Well, one good video game adaptation.
Because it belongs to Sony.
And good comedies like 21 and 22 Jump Street. And
was better.
They were both good equally. And Ghostbusters. Not the new one's the only one they did right, other than the first two. The reboot was on brand for Sony.
Yeah.
But like Men in Black 1, 2, and 3. Well, no, 1 and 3. 2 and 4 was garbage. Sony has an inconsistency in making good films. Because we have to think about this. They made really good Spider-Man films except for the third one in the Raimi trilogy.
Right.
Why? Why is it all the good ones came out? Is it because it's now dealing with Marvel? I don't know. I feel like they've gone down. And I forgot Into the Spider-Verse. That was really good.
Oh
too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of hard to mess that up, I guess.
It's not. It's
animation.
It's not. They made an emoji movie too.
But look at the fucking content of each one. It's emojis, talking emojis.
I know. What I'm saying is that they messed that one up, and it was a relatively simple concept. They didn't mess up one that should have been a very hard thing to be able to not mess up because it's so complex, and they did it well. I don't know. Let me put it this way. Sony's still getting their money because despite the shit reviews and the $75 million production budget, Morbius made $85 million opening weekend worldwide.
Right.
Which isn't a lot because Venom 2 made $91 million domestically in one weekend. But still, I don't think it won't make more than $100 million domestically.
At least I hope it doesn't.
It might. Listen, if we want to have any chance of seeing a better sequel, which is not on brand for them because usually their sequels are always worse, then also who the hell is he gonna fight?
Right.
Is Blade gonna come in? No, because
Hell
that's
no.
MCU.
Right.
You know, he said he wants to fight Blade at some point soon.
Negative.
Blade comes and fights you, you're dead.
Right.
He looks at you, you're dead. You talk to him, you dead. You breathe in his general direction, you are dead.
Dead. Yeah.
Mm,
I don't
this
see. I
movie,
don't see a sequel being made.
I do. I don't know what they do with it, but I could see it.
I don't even see. I don't even see why Tyrese was in this movie.
Yeah, Tyrese and that other guy whose name I can't remember, but he's Hispanic. Neither one of them could have
Like
been in
why?
this. Here's why. They needed a bit more runtime. They paid them to be in it, and they had to keep them in it in order for them to get paid.
It was horrible. Jesus Christ, man.
I won't watch it probably for a while. I know somebody who said it was really good.
Really?
Yeah, and I told him I don't respect them anymore.
Oh, you know what? Now that you say that, my little cousin said it was real good too.
Pretty sure that's an April Fool's joke that you maybe missed.
It had to be. Had to be.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
I heard people say that this was kind of like a 90s film, 90s like vampire film in the sense. And I'm like, I've never watched those, so I don't know. They compared it to The Lost Boys.
negative. Negative. Do not compare this movie to Lost Boys.
And Lost Boys 2 and 3.
No. Maybe 2 and 3.
I don't know.
But
I've
not
never
part
watched
one.
it. I
Not
ain't never
part
watched
one.
it.
Part one is amazing.
I ain't never watched it.
It's
They got
amazing.
this movie got lost on the way to The Boys.
Exactly. Super lost.
Mm-hmm.
I hope no one is comparing this movie to Lost Boys. Not part one.
Mm. All I know is they could have made a really cool horror film with a very complex character, and instead they chose to make this.
Right.
I think there is probably a cut of this movie somewhere that's not this. That's way better, or at least mildly better than this.
It has to
I'd
be.
I'd love to know what the post credit scenes were before the reshoots,
Right.
and every vulture scene that had him talking to him. But
Yeah.
instead, we got this. Oh,
Garbage.
I'm gonna tell you this. You walked out to go use the restroom during the scene that was in it, and he's like talking to the scientist girl that did a fairly decent job in the film for her character. She meets up with him, and she's like, "You want a cup of coffee?" And it's the coffee's in sunlight, and he goes and he like goes to grab it inside the test, and he just grabs it. And he goes, "Ah," and she goes,
What?
and he goes, "I'm not actually allergic to sunlight." She's like, "I know, I was just testing you." I was like, "Oh, yeah." I about walked out of the theater on that note.
Jeez.
If you weren't,
Horrible.
if I didn't think you were coming back, I wouldn't have. I would have left.
What if I would have just told you, hey, I'm going to use the restroom and like not came back?
I'd understand.
That
I'd understand completely.
would have been horrible.
Oh,
Yeah,
at least
I will say this. I will say this. On the off chance that I'm ever at a theater and I have to use the restroom, I'll like dart out and dart like come like right back. But this time I just walked and took my time.
you got.
Just walk back.
I think you missed about 3 minutes in the movie, and the thing is, you really didn't miss much.
Right.
Nah, but hey, at least we got Doctor Strange to look forward to, and Thor,
Hell yeah.
and Black Panther
And
too.
Sonic.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about other like this like Marvel
Oh,
properties.
Marvel movies, yeah.
Yeah, and we got Black Adam, which could either be really good or terrible.
I'm hoping this is gonna be good. I really like Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam 2 comes
So
out in December now
yeah.
with Helen Mirren as the villain. Mm. We gonna have our tickets for Doctor Strange by Wednesday.
Right.
We're gonna
They
have
come out Wednesday, right?
Yep. I hope it's 12 and 1 a.m. so that way I can have bought the ticket for our opening night and our weekend
Right.
because we're going to see an IMAX opening night because that kind of movie needs to be seen in that format first.
I'm at. Hell yeah.
And then we're going to see it in 4DX 3D.
Right. Right.
So that we can get thrown out of our chairs and probably dizzy from watching all the psychedelic shit.
Right. Hell yeah. That's boy, I can't wait.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably gonna pregame a little bit before we see it in 4DX.
Well,
Not
at least
en-
it will be our second time watching it. So
not enough to get sick from being thrown around in a chair with alcohol inside of me, but just
right.
enough to be like, wow. Because I'm not those people that went to go see Doctor Strange high as a kite.
Nah.
I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm not. I don't smoke that weed. That stuff's bad for you.
For sure.
Or some people say it is, but I don't do it. It's illegal.
I haven't smoked in a long time. I don't think it's bad for you though.
I don't think that any. I mean, it's probably not as bad as drinking is for you, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all right. I'm all right being high on life.
Oh Jesus.
But on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed our More BS podcast review, and stay tuned. Uh, we might have a little sneak peek for you for what Wednesday will be like, because I might be interlacing our podcast episode reviewing Morbius and a little bit of footage of us before we go see it in the theater, because we're going to be getting some special stuff.
Right.
But until next time, guys, peace out, and wish just me a happy birthday, even though it's
Right.
past already.
Almost a week ago.
Yep, and then I'll be turning another year older on Sunday. I feel
Happy
like
early birthday to this guy.
I feel old as shit, and I am not old at all.
Right.
Peace out.